Welcome back to the Battle Camp. Thank you for clicking on this video. If it's your first time, please hit the subscribe button. If you've been here before, thank you for coming back. So last night, or the early hours of this morning, Anthony Crolla faced off against Vasyl Lomachenko, and pretty much what we as boxing fans thought was going to happen happened. There were no shocks, no surprises. Crolla was just kind of out of his depths, unfortunately, and he was outclassed and knocked out in the fourth round. It was quite a bad knockout, the way he fell down, face down, ass up. It was it wasn't easy viewing. It's quite difficult to watch. Towards the end of the third round, he was leaning against the ropes, and Lomachenko was just kind of teeing off on him, and the referee gave him a standing 8 count, basically saying that the ropes were holding him up. I didn't quite see it that way. I didn't feel like Crolla was losing his balance or badly hurt. He was buzzed, but he just couldn't move out of the way. Those shots were coming, and he was trying to avoid them, but failing miserably, unfortunately. Now, before this fight happened, a lot of people were kind of, it's not even debating. I saw a lot on Twitter where people were basically saying, "What the fuck's Crolla doing? Why is he fighting Lomachenko? He's got no chance." Blah blah blah. Like, I never saw it that way. Like, if you get yourself in a position where you can fight Lomachenko, and just have that experience against probably the pound for pound best fighter in the world, and someone that's 99% certain to go down in history as one of the best that ever did it, you take that opportunity. If you're fucking, Millwall, for example, I remember a few seasons ago, they got to the cup final. I think they played Man United. Like, there was literally no chance that they was going to win that game. So should they just say, "I'll tell you what, you know what, we're not going to win this. There's no point trying. Fuck it, we're not playing." Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Like, yeah, it's a it's a brutal sport, but it's a sport, and Anthony Crolla earned that position. So what kind of a man would he be to turn that opportunity down? Not to mention, he probably got paid pretty well for it as well. He got to fight on a big stage in America, and I just didn't understand negativity leading up to the fight. Like, it just made no sense to me. Like, the amount of times these mandatory challengers come here in the UK and fight British champions, and we sit here saying, "Oh well, that would be an easy one for him." Like, do we knock those guys when they come here to fight our champions? Does that make sense? Like, I can't off the top of I can't off the top of my head think of a mandatory challenger. But okay, so when Amir Khan years ago fought Salita and knocked him out in the first round, Salita was a mandatory challenger. Should he just not take that opportunity because he was, blatantly going to lose that fight? Sometimes, like social media, it's a fun place and stuff, but it really fucking pisses me off sometimes when you see stuff like that. Rather than just saying fair play, you've earned the opportunity. It's going to be a difficult task, but fair play for having the balls, for stepping up and trying it. And taking it back to actually Anthony Crolla, like, he's conquered his Everest. Like, you have to remember, at the beginning of his career, he was losing to domestic fighters. He lost to Derry Matthews, got knocked out, and then he came back and fought him again and drew it. Like, there was a point in his career, and no disrespect to Derry Matthews, but there was a point in his career when he 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 couldn't mix it with the top quality of our domestic fighters. He went from that position back, what, how long ago was that? Maybe 4, 5, 6 years ago, something like that. He went from there to actually winning a world title and having two close fights with Linares. Like, it's not like he was just totally outclassed by Linares in both of those fights. And I'm speaking from memory here. I don't even know how those. I'm pretty sure one was Linares. How did those fights go? I think they were just both unanimous decisions. I don't even think he got knocked out. But the point I'm making here is he's conquered his Everest. He's become a world champion. No one can ever take that away from him. And then he was trying to rebuild his career to get to become a two-time world champion. And he fucking chose to do it against the best fighter in the world. You can't knock that. Come on. Like I'm happy that I've seen on Twitter and stuff, like a lot of people saying positive things about him and commending him for the attempt that he made. But just before, like, I mean, I never bothered making a video about it at the time. But just I was kind of thinking about it this morning after watching that fight, because it just went how we thought it was going to go. But that's no slight on Crolla. Like, he's achieved so much more than even he probably thought he was going to at the time when he was losing to domestic opponents. Because it wasn't just Derry Matthews. He had lost to, I don't know who the guy's name is, but he had lost before Derry Matthews. It wasn't like he built his career up and he was on the kind of rise in the domestic scene, and that was his first loss. He had losses on his record before that. I don't know, man. It's like it kind of feels like sometimes over here in the UK, we get behind our fighters until they get to a certain level, and then now it's time to turn on them. I don't see why you would turn on Crolla. He seems like a nice guy outside the ring as well. Well done to him, man. Bad luck. I think he kind of feels like now it's time to call it a day. Let's hope he gets another fight. A nice homecoming, someone at kind of European level, or a high level domestic fighter, just to finish his career with a win in Manchester in the MEN Arena, if that's what it's still called. And he can leave his gloves in the ring and walk back and walk out of the sport with a lot of accomplishments and a lot of good memories to cherish. Let me know what you guys think. Put your comments below. Don't be scared to subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.